Hey y'all, welcome back to Lola Speaks podcast. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who listened to the last episode because that one was a real one. It came from such an honest place, and I think that's why it landed the way that it did. I wasn't trying to be polished. I was just telling the truth about being tired. You know, like tired of carrying, tired of bracing, tired of feeling like everything in life had to be met with armor. And I just want to say hey to my audience who have been true to me since day one, even my new people who've entered the chats, I should say. But I wanted to go ahead and continue to part 2 of feeling like you're in a fight or flight mode and kind of touch more on what healing looks like and what, you know, the areas that may seem so, unclear or have you questioning certain things. Because after I recorded the first one, I kept sitting with that feeling of, what does like how like what does it mean to feel what am I feeling? Because it's one thing to realize that you're exhausted, but it's another thing to admit that you actually don't want to live in survival mode. And it's also another thing to entirely start losing your grip and realize you don't fully know yourself outside of that mode. And that part is somewhat uncomfortable because when you've spent so much time being strong, guarded, and the one who pushes through, that energy starts to feel a bit normal. Even when it's draining you, it's familiar. Even when you know it's too much, it's still the version of you that knows how to function. So when life starts getting quieter internally, even just a little bit, there can be this strange disconnect because, you ask God for peace, but now you're sitting in a kind of stillness that feels unfamiliar. And you're not in full survival mode, but you're not fully settled either. You're just in the in-between, Have you ever heard? I think there's a movie called The In-Between. I don't know. I said that and it made me think of the movie. But anyways, and I think that that's the part I want to talk about, like that in-between feeling, because healing is beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be in. But healing can also feel very, very, very awkward. It can feel tender. It can feel unfamiliar. And sometimes it feels like grief because you're meeting parts of yourself that got buried, underneath everything you had to do just to make it through. So this episode is really for the person who is starting to come out of survival mode and realizing, like, okay, I know I don't want to keep living like that, but now I need to learn what it feels like without constantly being on the defense, because that's a different kind of work. It's quieter, it's more tender, and honestly, it can make you feel a little lost at first. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're meeting yourself in a new way. So today I kind of want to sit in that space a bit, because there comes a point where surviving stops feeling like strength. And for a long time, I would get praised for how I can handle things or how I handle certain situations. People see me keep going. They see me show up and figure it out. They see me carry a lot without falling apart in public. And from the outside, that can look like strength. But from the inside, sometimes it feels like exhaustion. Sometimes, people call you strong when you're really just overextended. Some people admire how well you keep going, but they don't realize how tired you are behind the scenes. The version of you that everybody claps for is actually the version of you that has learned how to function while running on fumes. And after a while, that catches up to you, because surviving may get you through a season, but eventually your soul starts asking for more than survival. It starts asking for room, honesty, for rest, softness, and safety. Remember how safety kind of like triggered me in the last episode, because what is safety? Like, what does that really feel like? What does that really feel like? I think that's where I get uncomfortable, because survival is becoming familiar. It's not healthy. It's not peaceful or fulfilling. It's just familiar. Like, I'm getting used to being the one who can take it, the one who doesn't really need much. And, I'm getting used to saying I'm good, because that feels easier than explaining how heavy things actually feel. And then one day something shifts. Maybe you don't have that same energy for chaos or your patience. It's kind of getting thinner. Your heart starts craving a quieter life, and that's where I'm at. And you just wake up and realize, like, I can't keep doing this to myself. And that moment mattered so much to me when I literally said those words, like, I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't keep surviving. Like, I can't keep, I don't even know the words I want to use in that statement, but it's just like, I just can't keep doing this to myself. Because sometimes the most healing thing you can do is admit that the version of you that you knew how to endure everything is no longer the version of you want leading your life anymore. Like, that version served a purpose. Like, she got me through. She protected me the best way she knew how. But baby, she tired. Sis is tired. T-I. Red. Okay? And if, like, let's just be honest with ourselves. Some of us have confused what endurance, our endurance with our identity. Like, we've worn survival for so long that it started to feel like our personality. I said that in the first part. I said that, like, we get so used to saying, like, oh, I'm just guarding. I'm just a strong one, or I'm just used to doing everything myself. I'm not really soft like that. I'm just better when I don't expect much. Like, all of those things become our personality. And that's just because we've been holding too much for too long. So, that kind of living gets into everything. It touches you how you rest. Like, those nights become restless, because now you're like, oh yeah, I'm the strong one, but when you go home, you can't even sleep. Oh, how you trust. You can't even trust anyone because you're not soft like that. How you receive is because you don't expect much. How you love. Oh, I'm just guarded. And even how you respond to things, and how safe you feel when nothing is technically wrong. So when things begin shifting internally, it can feel disorienting because you just start realizing you don't just need a break. You need a new way of being. Like, I just need a new scenery, a new feel, a new something that's going to kind of like feel like what peace is. And I've also been seeing that, faith looks different when you're no longer only in emergency mode. Like, I also think this whole conversation changes the way you relate to God, because sometimes when you've been in survival mode for a long time, your prayer life becomes almost entirely crisis-based. You pray from exhaustion, from fear. You pray because you need help getting through the next thing, because life keeps pressing on the same places and you are trying not to break under it. And I literally asked God yesterday, like, I know you said you'll prepare the table in front of mine enemies, but God, how many enemies do I have? Because the tables have been prepared one after the other, and I'm tired. Like what are we doing here? Like, what's really going on? And God said, girl, hush, be quiet. Like, he said, I'll be sitting at the head of that table watching you, succeed and watching you grow in the areas that you need to grow, because a quieter season asks for something different. It invites you to meet him outside of panic, outside of pressure, outside of emergency, outside of constantly trying to stay afloat. And that definitely feels new, because now the prayer is not just, God, get me through this. The prayer becomes, God, teach me how to rest. Teach me how to trust peace, what that feels like, what it looks like. Teach me how to stop bracing. Teach me how to live with open hands instead of a clenched fist or a closed fist. Like, teach me how to be more open about things. Teach me how to recognize safety without expecting it to disappear, without expecting the worst out of everything. And that is a different kind of intimacy. It's slower, steadier, and one that is softer. And I think some of us are learning that God is not only with us in survival, he is also with us in the rebuilding. He is with us in the quiet, in the stillness, in the softness, in the unfamiliar places, and in the moments where we are trying to learn a new rhythm after being on edge for so long. That matters. It matters to me. I don't know if that matters to you, but it definitely matters to me, because I need him not only in my survival, but also in my peace and my stillness. And sometimes we be forgetting to call God when it feels still, when that peace feels peaceful. Because I think sometimes we know how to reach for God in crisis, but we are still learning how to be with him in the calm. We're still learning how to sit with him when nothing dramatic is happening. And we're still learning how to let his presence feel like safety instead of just rescue. And maybe that's the part of the invitation right now, like, to trust that rest is somewhat holy too. Like peace is not a trick, and to trust that you do not have to stay in a constant state of inner warfare just because that's what you've known. Maybe faith in this season is not about fighting harder. Maybe it's about releasing more. Because sometimes peace can feel unfamiliar before it feels safe. A lot of people think if peace shows up, you immediately know how to settle into it. And that's not always the case. Sometimes peace arrives and your first response is discomfort. It's like, who sent you, nigga? You know that scene off of Friday when I can't remember his name, but anyway, he came in the room and he was like, who sent you, nigga? That's what peace can feel like. And it's not because you want chaos or you like dysfunction or that you even enjoy being stressed, but because your system got used to pressure, you got used to thinking ahead, anticipating problems, and always carrying tension and checking for what could go wrong, and not fully relaxing because something always seemed to need your attention. So when life gets quieter, even for a moment, there can be this weird restlessness. You sit down, but you can't settle. You finally get space, but your mind is still running. You get a calm moment, but a part of you is waiting for the catch. And that's where I'm at. Because it's like I'm in this space where, I guess I could say, like I said earlier, I'm in the in-between. Like, I kind of feel like I'm in a peaceful place, but I'm also kind of feeling like there's a catch. Because I've never felt that. Like, I've never not felt what it felt like to not be in the fight mode, you know, like I really want to know that it doesn't mean that I'm doing my healing wrong. Like I really want to know what it means, like, because, you know, your mind is trained in a certain way for a while, and it means like, you know, peace may be new. So like what exactly, you know, like what exactly has my heart been asking for? Like, and that, I think that healing takes gentleness, and I'm trying to give myself grace, and I want you guys to give yourself grace. So always give yourself grace, because you can't force yourself to trust calm overnight. Like, you can't shame yourself into resting better. You can't snap your fingers and undo years of bracing all at once. Sometimes it starts smaller than that. Sometimes it starts with noticing how uncomfortable stillness makes you, how quickly you go into defense mode, how hard it is to receive care without feeling like you have to earn it. That awareness. Why am I trying to stumble over my words all of a sudden? That awareness is not failure. That awareness is information. Like, it helps you understand where you are. It helps you meet yourself with compassion instead of criticism. Like, I really want you guys to stop calling yourself difficult when you're dysregulated. Stop calling yourself cold when you're really protective. Stop calling yourself lazy when really you are depleted. And it's okay. Because once you understand what's going on, you can start responding to yourself differently, with more grace, more patience, more honesty. And honestly, peace is not boring. It's just a different feeling when your nervous system has gotten used to so much chaos. You know, some people are not addicted to drama. They are just unfamiliar with stability. And the longer you've had to live in survival mode, the more sacred, steady starts to become. Not flashy, not dramatic, not loud, just steady. A calm mind, a soft morning, a safe conversation, a quiet night, a body that gets to excel. That kind of peace is a gift. But sometimes you have to learn how to trust it little by little. So for the woman or man that's listening and meeting yourself again, I want to end this by speaking directly to the person who is meeting themselves again. The person who is becoming or beginning to let the armor loosen. Oh, it's a spider on my wall, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me see. I got distracted. Oh, hold on, y'all. It is a... Ooh. I had to. Okay, let's start over. I want to talk to the person who is meeting themselves again, the person who is beginning to let the armor loosen, who doesn't want to live clenched anymore, who is healing but still feels tender, the person who wants peace but still is learning how to trust it, the person who knows the old version of themselves cannot keep leading forever. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not weak because this feels emotional. You are not doing healing wrong because it feels unfamiliar. You are learning a new way to live, and that takes time. Give yourself room. Give yourself gentleness. Give yourself patience. Let yourself become slowly. And I'm not only saying this to you, I'm talking to me too, because I have the tendency to try to rush through the process. But God said things aren't happening to you, they are happening through you. So take all the time you need while giving yourself grace. You do not have to force a new identity overnight. You do not have to pretend this part is easy. You do not have to act like you already know exactly who you are becoming. Some of that will reveal itself as you go, little by little, choice by choice, prayer by prayer, boundary by boundary, and breath by breath. And maybe that is enough for right now. Maybe right now, enough looks like this. I'm listening to myself more. I'm honoring my peace more. I'm noticing what no longer fits. I'm letting go of who I had to be. I'm making room for who I really am. That is not small. That is sacred. Because the version of you underneath all that survival is still there. They are still there. Maybe a bit quieter. Maybe a bit more tender. Maybe still learning to trust. Still healing in places nobody can see, but they are still there. And they deserve a chance to live fully, not just survive, not just cope, not just to endure, but to live with the peace, with honesty, with rest, with boundaries, with softness that doesn't apologize for itself. She deserves that, and so do you. So, that really hit me because, I got to remember that I'm not only talking to y'all, I'm talking to me too. Or you guys got to remember that I'm talking to myself too, because I'm in the in-between, and I want to know what peace looks like, and I want to know what it feels like, and I want to know what starting over means. So, if you're in that strange in between space like me, I just want to remind you that it's okay to not have every answer yet. It's okay if peace still feels a little unfamiliar. It's okay if you're still learning how to settle. If the old version of you keeps trying to reappear when life feels uncertain. None of that means you're going backwards. It simply means you are learning how to live differently, and that takes grace. For me, I think this season is less about trying to define myself perfectly and more about letting myself unfold honestly. I know I don't want to keep living in survival mode. Like, I know I want peace. I know I want truth. I know I want the life that doesn't require me to stay armored all the time. And maybe for now, that's enough. And maybe I don't need to have the full answer tonight. Maybe it's enough to know that I'm making room for a softer, steadier, more honest version of myself. One that doesn't need chaos to feel alive or struggle to feel strong. One that doesn't need to keep performing resilience while secretly running on empty. That version of me is worth meeting. And the version of you on the other side of survival is worth meeting too. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and end there. And I want to thank you for sitting with me for another episode of Lola Speaks podcast. If this speaks to you, if you've ever been in this kind of space too, just know that you are not alone in it. Healing can be quiet. Growth can be awkward. Peace can feel new, but new does not mean wrong. Sometimes it means that You are finally getting closer to the life your spirit has been asking for. Yeah. Sometimes it means you are finally getting closer to the life your spirit has been asking for. So don't doubt yourself. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. And never lose that faith. Because God said that with the faith of a mustard seed, the faith of a mustard seed is all you need for Him to intercede. And as always, I love you guys to life, beyond life. And I just want to say thank you so much again for tuning in to Lola Speaks. And I hope that this message is a message that you can revisit over the years, that you can come back to in a year or two, or maybe 2 months from now, 2 weeks from now, and it speaks to you in a different way, or it's a different version of you that can receive this message wholeheartedly and know that you are not alone, and know that it's okay to say that you're tired, and know that it's okay to actually speak on the things that you are feeling in the moment and stop harboring those feelings. Let it all out so that you can begin the healing process. And whatever that looks like, whether it's forgiving someone or healing from whatever you put your own self through, start doing the work. Because you can't keep holding on to those old things, and you can't keep putting yourself through survival. We have to know what peace looks like. We have to know what it feels like. We have to know how to keep that version of us safe. Peace. Until next time.